Good morning to my friends on YouTube, and thanks for joining me once again for another episode of Bluebird Adventures. It's Sunday, and I'm riding to a specific location in Kampala, and for a specific reason. For my friends and family back in UK who know me from my childhood, you will also know that I'm a bit of an anorak, or a bit of a spotter. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, that means I am a train enthusiast. My parents' house even backed onto the main London to Bristol railway line, so I would often see steam engines, diesel engines, and even more recently electric trains running past the back garden. So now I'm in Uganda. I want to find out a little bit more about the railways here, how they work, where they are, and a little bit about the history behind it. So in order to get a first look this morning of where the railways are, I've got to get to a bridge just near to the Entebbe roundabout, just to have a quick look so that you can see what a typical scene in Kampala is like with the railway that runs through the inner city areas. Not the best view from here, so I'm just going to slowly move the motorbike up onto the bridge, get off very quickly because there are a lot of police around at the moment. I don't want to be too long, and give you a view from over the wall onto the railway track below. From a first look you would think it was a disused line, but it's actually the railway line that takes us from Kampala railway station all the way to the diesel engineering works along the Massacre Road. So that line actually goes a further 3 or 4 kilometres. Previous to that, however, this was actually the main line that ran from Kampala west to Kasese and had a functional passenger service right up until the 1970s. I'm currently riding through Katwe, and I'll be heading up to the central commercial district of Kampala in order to get a better view of the railway yard in central Kampala. Well, that's what I hope anyway. I've been looking on Google Maps, and I'd noticed that behind the commercial buildings there seemed to be an entrance into the railworks yard, workshop areas and that kind of thing, and I'm hoping I might be able to get a viewpoint from there. A Sunday morning is also a great time to do this because there's not so much traffic on the roads, so you can get around the city centre quite easily. My plan is to bear right at the Shell petrol station, head up the hill, take a right at Nasser Road, and then head behind the shops of Rosebery Road until I reach the entrance or the gate to the railway yard itself. Looking ahead, I see the gates are closed and there's a notice saying entry prohibited. There's even a sign for a fine for unauthorized entry. I'm noticing off to the right, though, that there's a pedestrian entrance that's open, and with what appears to be quite a few people making their way across the railway yard. So maybe all is not lost yet, but this is definitely not the entrance I can get to see what's going on. The shops of the commercial area seem to be on a higher level than the railway yard, so I continue along Rosebery Road just for a while to see if I can see over the fence down into the valley of the railway yard as you can see it now. But I'm frustrated because I can't get to it. But as I'm here, I'll ride along a little bit further and show you Kampala Central Railway Station. Here it is on the right. This is actually still a functioning railway station, and it dates back to 1941 when it was completed. Through the railings is the ticket hall, and a reminder of those grand days of travelling all the way from Kampala to Mombasa on the coast of Kenya on the old East Africa Railway. The current timetable is very sparse and shows only a 15-kilometre ride east to Namamvi, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. There were recent trials for a passenger commuter service from Port Bell and even one as far as Jinja, but maybe due to cost or viability, these services are still not available to the public. So the East Africa Railway has now become Uganda Railways, and the headquarter building is here on the left. So with a locked gate and just a brief view of Kampala Central Railway Station, I'm going to go to Plan B now, go back down the hill into the valley, take a left at the Clock Tower Junction and onto Zambia Road, where I know on the left there are a couple of tracks that will take me a little bit nearer to what I can see are railway wagons. So let's go and have a look now. So I've come down to the other side of the high rises of Kampala and the railway station down onto the lower level. I can see the railway wagons in the distance, but the Nachavubo water channel is stopping me from getting any closer. I'm just going to take a ride along this lane and then suddenly I see a railway bridge. This could be a great place to cut across and get a little bit closer, see what's going on. This looks like a great place to cross over and access where the railway wagons are, but I can't contemplate leaving the motorbike where it is, so there's only one thing to do. This is a bit surreal. The railway tracks are obviously being used because they're not rusty. Where else in the world could you ride a motorbike next to a 1 meter gauge railway line? So I ride as far as I can along the ballast and park up next to what appears to be a graveyard of railway wagons. A marabou stork sits quietly and patiently on top of the water tower, and the first railway wagon is obviously being used as a bridge across the small stream where you go in through one door and out the other. I'm going to take a quick look now to see if I can find any evidence of how old these wagons are. There's obviously box wagons here, tankers, but nothing to see that is evident, so I just enjoy the views and quietly make my way back to the motorbike. There are working sidings far into the distance where I can see many lanes of working freight wagons, and even off to the right there's the water tower and another workshop. There's got to be more to see here, and I'm going to get back on my bike, take one more turning that I know is just up the road to see if there's any more opportunity to see anything interesting in this railway yard. And here we are arriving now at the final turning, and yes, this is more like it. So this is an old water tower from the steam age. Let's go and have a look. Yeah, this is America. Sheffield patent, 1906. Wow. Chicago, Illinois. Fairbanks. What's that? Fairbanks Morse and Company. So F and M. Well, I wasn't expecting to get this far into the yard. There are signs saying no entry, but there are plenty of people walking through as a cut through. So this must be some sort of wagon repair yard. Wheels and bogies and wagons and goats. There's some plates on these frames. Let's see if we can find out where they were built. Texmaco, India, Calcutta, 1985, so not that old. It's upside down, but 1980, Calcutta, India. I'll turn that one upside down so you can see that one a bit better. I hope you don't mind, I'm just looking. I'm interested in the history. The history of the railway from when the British built the railway from Mombasa.
From Mombasa.
Yes. Now the railway is working. There is a passenger service to
Yes, Namamve.
Namamve, and that's one time in the morning. I see the wagons, they were made in India.
Made in India.
Yes.
We have made in India. We have made in where? Is it Britain or where?
You have some from UK?
Well, from
The
UK,
diesel?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, very interesting. Seville, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. So let's make our way back to the bike. And I think it's time for a coffee. So the bridge I crossed on the motorbike and the road rail crossing on Zambia Road briefly connected the Kampala to Kasese railway line. I'm just going to take a left here and take you down Mukwano Road. There's another road rail crossing there which goes from Kampala, and there's a branch off that goes right down to Port Bell. So I'll show you the crossing here now. This particular branch line to Port Bell was an experimental commuter line last year, I think it was, but it doesn't seem to have survived. But here we are at the crossing Mukwano Road of the Port Bell road rail crossing. I decide to take another ride down the side of this branch line and see there's even a siding going into the Mukwano Industries compound, but it was one step too far, and suddenly realised that there was no way I could get even to the bridge, the junction, or even turn the bike around. But thankfully this gentleman here was able to help me turn around and get my bike back on track towards the main road. Yes, I should have come down here. Lesson learnt, and maybe just good for foot passengers across that rail bridge. I won't do that again. So looking straight ahead, across the crossing is the Port Bell branch line. I did a trip to Port Bell a couple of months ago, and it's definitely worth taking the cameras down there now I have them. There's a lot of history down there, not just in the railways, but in other forms of transport. So I look forward to making that one and sharing that with you in the future. Anyway, on to the final rail crossing, which is what I would call the main line. This is the Kampala to Jinja line, and obviously from Jinja then on to Malaba, which is on the Kenya-Uganda border. There is no current link from Kampala through to Mombasa on the 1 meter gauge. The Kenyans have made a standard gauge line all the way through, and there is talk of a development of a standard gauge line from Kenya all the way through to Uganda, and who knows, even maybe beyond. So we look forward to the next few years to see what the development of the railways bring. So I've been a bit reluctant to show old photographs on this particular episode due to maybe copyright issues, but in a few months' time I'm hoping to get to Jinja, and in Jinja there is a railway museum which shows the full history of the railways in East Africa and Uganda. So I'm looking forward to travelling to Jinja and showing you a little bit of the history from there. So heading back through town one more time now, I'm going to head back home towards Entebbe along the Queen's Way. Incidentally, on the left-hand side of Queen's Way there's an embankment where people are walking, you'll see in just a second. And this again is the part of the old Kasese railway line that heads up to the Airtel roundabout. I'm just going to take one final look and go down an embankment to have a look at the railway line going through the two bridges. By the way, there's some great Series 3 Land Rovers that have been turned into breakdown trucks. Another one of my favourite things. Anyway, here is the part of the Kasese line that I wanted to show you, going through now towards Massacre Road. You can imagine this would have been a popular railway line in the day, but now it's a walkway and almost an abandoned line. So I'm going to end the video with a final view of the railway line. I'm going to say thank you for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, please press like. New subscribers are, of course, always welcome, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Bluebird Adventures. Thanks for watching.